Welcome back friends. It's Anders, the Shandy. What's the deal with the Shandy? The Shandy is a classic, probably the simplest lower ABV cocktails for the summer months. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I fear it's lost its way. So today we're going on a tour of the Shandy, and we're gonna talk about where it made a wrong turn. And was that wrong turn actually the right turn? Not to compliment the redcoats, that might be better. Wherever it is we're going, we're coming right back to the Shandy once again. And yes, you will get 3 recipes today that you can throw in your back pocket. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes. And let's go make the Shandy. To the bar. If you were to ask pretty much anybody who's familiar with a Shandy, you say, what's a Shandy? They would say, well, it's a drink that's half lemonade and half beer. And that's pretty much it, right? However, at least here in the States, you can go out and buy a bottle of Shandy. I got one right here. It's considered a beer, and it's a little bit lower ABV, and it's a beer mixed with fruit. In fact, you can even Google like how to make a Shandy, and I saw some channels that were like how to make a Shandy beer, like how to brew a Shandy, which is not actually what the drink was originally. It wasn't all brewed together and bottled, but whatever. It has seemed to become a fruit beer that's lower in ABV. Doesn't even necessarily have to be lemon, I don't think. Here's the problem. This aside, if we look at the mixed drink, now we have the problem of what is lemonade? Here in the United States, it is a juicy beverage made from fresh lemon juice, sugar, and water. Now, sometimes it's a powdered thing, and that's a whole other thing. But a true lemonade is those 3 ingredients, and most importantly, this drink is flat, meaning no bubbles. However, in Great Britain, you will find lemonade has bubbles in it. In fact, throughout Europe, it's a bubbly drink. It's a carbonated soda. And all of the lemonades over there are a little bit different. Some of them are a little sour, some of them are a little bitter, some of them might be a little sweet. Maybe it's a real subtle lemon flavor. Some of them are clear. So here we are, not able to agree on what a Shandy really is before we even got to this Franken Shandy that we've got in a bottle here today. And I gotta tell you, I've actually never had a British Shandy, but I'm gonna try to do it today. Everybody buckle up. I want you to remain seated throughout the duration of this ride. We're gonna start things off here in the United States with the American Shandy. And action. Today's video is brought to you by ZBiotics. After a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I can either have a great night out or a great next day, but with pre-alcohol, I can have both. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Sometimes I have to test multiple recipes for a video. I do. And with pre-alcohol, I can confidently plan on feeling my best the next day. July is packed with BBQs, fireworks, late weekends, and late nights with friends. Am I right? Of course I am. Keep the good times rolling into the next day. Drink pre-alcohol before you go out and wake up ready for whatever Sunday brings. Assuming you went out on a Saturday. Go to zbiotics.com/Anders to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use code Anders at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Just remember, head to zbiotics.com/Anders and use code Anders at checkout for that 15% off. Feel your best tomorrow, and as always, drink responsibly. Thanks, ZBiotics. On to the film. We're gonna start things off here in the United States with the American Shandy. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Okay. So we need lemonade, American lemonade. This is cloudy. You can't see through it because there is lemon juice in here. Now, best lemonade is gonna be homemade. Make it yourself. It's gonna be delicious. If you want, you can make an oleo sacrum. But for now, whatever, a nice American-style lemonade is gonna work great in this drink. Then to it, we're gonna add beer. This should be a lighter beer. I'm using a local beer here in Wisconsin. You can't get the Spotted Cow anywhere else, so I apologize. It's not overly hoppy. It's got a creaminess to it. Grab yourself a cold vessel, and we're gonna go 50-50. This glass happens to be 14 ounces. Watch and learn. That should do it. Let's top it off with beer. Just pour this down the side. Doesn't really foam at all. Anders, you magician. I'm just gonna give it a little Stir to incorporate. Yeah, you could put like a lemon wedge on there if you want, and a little extra lemon. But this is the shandy that I've always known. There we are, first stop on the shandy train. Let me take a sip and then we'll move on to Great Britain. Cheers. I mean, come on. That's refreshing. It's delicious. It's lower in ABV, so it's sessionable, but it's bright lemony. The thing with the lemonade though, is because there are no bubbles, it does kind of kill the bubbles in the beer. This is not a bubbly drink. The bubbles are very subtle. Oh, that tastes like freedom right there. America. Freedom is a little flat. All right, so on to Great Britain. England is the birthplace of the shandy. I have not had a shandy over in England, but I do know that they use a sparkling lemonade. The shandy originally was called a Shandygaff. In Victorian England, it was a drink that combined beer with ginger ale or ginger beer. No lemonade. However, somewhere along the line, lemonade got swapped in for the ginger ale, ginger beer, and the name got shortened from Shandygaff to Shandy. So the shandy became beer and sparkling lemonade. And this version of the shandy can be found in other parts of Europe, not just England. In Spain, you have the Clara. In France, you have the Panache. In Germany, you have the Radler. Radler, by the way, translates to cyclist. The alleged origin story is that a long time ago, tens of thousands of cyclists descended upon a barkeep who didn't have enough beer to serve everybody, so he had to cut it with sparkling lemonade. That's the alleged story, and that's my favorite of the origin stories. But we're not making a Radler today, or are we? Because they're all kind of the same thing. So let's make the British, as close as we can, to the British Shandy. For this, we will need another beer, and a British-style lemonade, which I can't get my hands on, so I'm going to make a sparkling lemonade in the glass. The beer, by the way, I'm keeping the same for consistency. Traditionally, this would probably be made with a British bitter or a pale ale, but it's gonna be great with my beer that I've got here. So let's make the lemonade inside this glass. This isn't gonna be true from what I've read. The British lemonade is clear, like a Sprite or 7-Up, but it's more lemony. I don't wanna just use Sprite and say this is British lemonade, but I'm gonna do my best to approximate it. So in the glass, I'm gonna add 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice, 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, and I'm gonna say about 5 ounces of sparkling water. So I've got my soda canister, but you can use any sparkling water as long as it's got good bubbles. Topo Chico would be great, but here I can't seem to find Topo Chico, which is really sad. I'm tempted to add a second canister to really make it fizzy, but I'm afraid it's gonna blow up on me. This thing's old, I haven't used it in a long time, and I don't know how good this seal is. So we're just gonna go with this, one shot, about halfway through. About halfway up, I meant to say. Looks fuzzy. That's fuzzy water right there. Looks fizzy. Top it off with our beer on the side here. Try to maintain those bubbles. Looks mighty similar. Oh, but at least here we see bubbles on the top. I don't know if you recall that the last one, there were no bubbles. Well, I gotta tell you, by the looks of it, this is a happier shandy. To all my friends across the pond, cheers. That might be better. Oh, that's good. Us?
Oh, that's delicious.
That's really good. I'll tell you why this is good. The bubbles remain. And when I have a beer, I like bubbly beer. I'm not one for, like mulled beer because you take all the bubbles out and now it's just like stale beer. Again, this is not a true British lemonade, but it's the closest I could approximate. And I think I did a pretty good job because I think it makes a better shandy. I mean, that's fine. It's like beer juice. I have to hand this one to the Brits. The bubbly shandy, that was my first time ever having it, and I really liked it. I am saying this right before 4th of July. Not to compliment the redcoats, but luckily, we live in a free land where we can make our shandies flat and you can't do anything about it. All right, so what a lovely time we had in Great Britain. Just really, really nice, bubbly place. Pack up your bags, we're going back over the pond to today, to the here and now, to this studio right here, where we are gonna push the boundaries even further with an original of mine I call a shallow draft. It's a play on words. You nautical freaks are gonna love this one. First things first, we're gonna need beer, Falernum, and fresh lemon juice. You can use any light beer you want. I would keep it less hoppy, personally. And then we've got the Falernum. This is gonna provide sugar, which is gonna counter that lemon. And it's not just sugar, it's Falernum, which has notes of ginger, which is kind of a throwback to the original Shandygaff that we talked about earlier. There are a number of different kinds of Falernum, and it does kind of give your drink a tropical note. Now, this is a Falernum syrup, so there's no booze in it. I'm gonna be making this like I would a cocktail, so I'm gonna shake it up and then top it off with beer. In a shaking tin, let's start with the Falernum. This is gonna be 3/4 of an ounce of Falernum, 1 full ounce of fresh lemon juice, and then we can add ice and shake. You don't need to shake this too much. There isn't any booze, so it's gonna freeze pretty easily. We don't wanna make slush. Just to chill it, add a little bit of water, controlled dilution. Then strain this off into a chilled Collins glass. Not a whole lot there, but it's enough to add plenty of flavor. Once again, top it off with our beer. This glass is about 10 ounces, so this is gonna be about, let's say, 6 to 8 ounces of beer. You can adjust as much or as little as you'd like. It is gonna foam up, so be careful. You could express lemon oil across the top here, but I wanna maintain that foam. And for a garnish, 1 lemon wheel, like that. There it is, the shallow draft. Cheers. Ta-da, looks kinda like the others. Go in for a sip. Cheers. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It's kind of like the others. It's citrusy, it's beery, and then there's a little extra something with the Falernum. The one thing I will note about this is it's not 50% lemonade, so it's not as flat as the American one, but there is a little bit of non-carbonated liquid in here, so it's not quite as fizzy and lively as the British version, which I actually really did like. All that to say, this is kind of, we're getting into cocktail territory a little bit because there's some extra flavors here, but I would still say that this is in the Shandy family. So there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I am genuinely curious how you make your Shandy. Check out the links down below. We've got House of Bitter Bear, we've got the Falernum, of course, the Falernum, the grenadine, all that's linked down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see all of you next time. Cheers.